Hello, this video is in response to an email I got today from, I believe it was someone in Ireland, regarding how I got the Expert software to look the way it does. So I'm going to go over, hopefully this isn't going to take long. So I'm going to show you how I did it. The first thing you'll notice is that, of course, this is version 2. Click on About. This is 1.3, version 1.3.1. I guess this is V2 Update 6. This is the Update 6. This is my favorite. Now, don't ask me about V3. Don't care. Not interested. So, it's my understanding that V3, you cannot put images in the display, in the spectrum, overlay images, which in V2 is background, and you can choose a custom image to put in the background on the V2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make one. So basically you can go online and you can download your favorite image. Make sure that it is like at least like 1920 by 1080. All right. And there's one other thing I wanted to show you here under main. You'll see display 4K. See this checkbox? I have this checked only because when I don't run it in 4K, the buttons become so tiny up here that I have to really hunt and peck. And that's not my thing. Speed and efficiency. I'm all about speed and efficiency with all of my gear here. It's got to be quick and effortless. So, run it however you want. This is in reference to running it in 4K. If you're going to run it in standard, like, let me switch this for a second. No, it's not going to allow me. Oh, it did. It did switch it. Okay. So that's what it looks like in standard resolution, right? And I think you'll notice that the way I have this formatted, it doesn't work up here. See this big black space right here at the top? So this is formatted for the 4K setup, and see how small these buttons are? I mean, my eyes aren't that good. I can't even hardly read them. So that's why I run it in 4K. For a lot of people, that would be really annoying, but for me, it's really nice because I can see it almost out of the peripheral vision of my eyes. So let me get the 4K back on here. Come on. Okay. This is one thing I noticed about the 4K. I figured I'd show you this. So when the software opens, it opens up in 4K exactly the way you see it here. The way I have mine set up. I have it full screen 4K, right? See this line right here? Now this could be a issue with my monitors, my scaling. I'm not sure, but what I usually have to do is I have to unclick this, click that box, and that puts it truly full screen. And then I click the expand out, and it seems to, I don't know. Sometimes I see it all messed up over here. So most likely my screen resolution or something, my scaling isn't quite right. Anyhow, so this is 4K, right? So I'm going to show you how to format the image. Let's go over. So the first thing you want to do is you want to download your image that you want to use. And if you don't have Photoshop, you're probably busted. You will need some kind of imaging editing software. Oh. So I guess we're going to have to stay there. All right. So in Photoshop, what I do is I open a blank canvas. So if we check the background, go to image size. We're at 1920 by 1080. So this basically covers the full screen. If you're running 1920 by 1080 on your displays, That's what you want your base canvas to be. Okay, so you create one, go up here to new, and you create a new base canvas, 1920 by 1080. The next thing I do is I want it black. So I would click on this, click OK. You double click on your base canvas down here in your layers, double click on it, and now you can edit it. So what you can do is go to blending options. So remember, you can right click on this. Let me do that again because I'm skipping here. I'm tired. Blending options. Right click on that, left click on blending options. You're going to see color overlay right here. What you want to do is click on this. All right. And then click here and you can change the color of the background. Oh, shoot. So you can change it to black and click OK, and you're good to go. All right. Next thing is you take your downloaded image, whatever you want to use, go ahead and click OK, and you open the folder where you put it there. Make sure it's a JPEG, preferably. I don't know. I just use JPEGs. A PNG will probably work if you download one. What you want to do is you want to left click and drag it. First of all, first thing you want to do in Photoshop is drag this and disconnect this so it's not, it's a floating window. All right. Actually, you really don't have to do that. So I'll redock it up here. Come on. Come on. I was thinking of another process of what I had to do, but it's not relevant to here. So scratch that, reboot. You don't have to do that. So drag that image right onto the top of this. And what will happen is it will overlay and then a checkbox will come up. And you can go ahead, before you hit the checkbox, you can resize this. Now, before you do this, I'll show you how to format it to 4K. So if you go up here to view, what you want is you want the rulers to be checked. Okay, make sure the rulers are checked, and you'll see the rulers down the side here? And this is how I format the image. Now, you'll notice that the image is not all the way up at the top. If you put the image at the top, it's going to be all screwed up. All right. You're going to have to float this image and move this down and leave like a space up here. It's just the way it renders in the 4K window on the Expert software. So what I would recommend doing, so you got 0 here, right, on the ruler. Now that's the top of the canvas. So what you want to do is you want to come down, and when you drag this image in, resize this. So if I click on the image, it won't look like this, but it'll look something like that. Okay. So but if you want to resize the image, all you have to do is highlight the particular thing you want to resize in here in the layers window and do a Control T. All right, so make sure this is highlighted, do a Control T, and now you can resize it. Now, if you want to maintain perspective, you have to hold the Shift key when you drag any of the handles. If you don't care about the perspective, which I don't, you can just drag any of the handles and resize it to however you want it to look. Okay, however big or small or whatever. So if you notice on my screen, I run a very large spectrum with a small pan adapter. Now, if you wanted this up here, it will still work. Okay. But if you make the background image too skinny, if you go to drag it down, see that? It's going to be all black underneath it. So that's the reason why I do that. It gives me a little bit of margin. So if I wanted to drag the waterfall up a little bit, run a more balanced looking pan adapter, I can do that. My personal preference is to run it down here. So just keep that in mind when you're formatting your image, this image, wherever you put this down here will determine how if you put this, let's say you drag this down here, right? You'll be able to drag that bar, that separator between the spectrum and the waterfall lower and still maintain the image there. If you have this too high and you go to drag that separator bar down, it's going to go black. You'll see a black line. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to have to play with the formatting a little bit. So this is the critical one. Moving on. Just click that. So the easiest thing for you to do, hit the Control T. Okay, once your rulers are in place, the top of the canvas is on 0. And what you're going to want to do is drag the top of this image. So let's say this image is up here, right? And it's really big. Let's say it's like that, right? It's a 1920 by 1080. If you drag this over the top of the base canvas, it's going to be full screen. You don't want that. Well, you could do that if you wanted to, but the problem is it's not going to work right. So what you have to do is drag this up to where you think you probably want to run the separator bar. Do that first. And then what you're going to do is you're going to drag this, grab this middle handle right here. And you're going to want to drag this down to about, let me see this for a second. So this is, if you put your cursor there, you'll see a little line on that ruler, right? So you want to drag this down to just above the 1/2 inch. I call that a 1/2 inch line, even though these aren't inches, I don't think. I'm not sure if they're in pixel or inches. I haven't checked on the ruler. So I would drag this down just so it's above where that line is. And once that's done, you can set the bottom of it to where you think you may need to put it. And then just hit the check mark. That's done. Okay. Now, what you need to do, if you want to, you can put in text. So I'll just blow out the text here just for giggles. So let's delete layer. So that's out of there. So what you want to do is make sure you're on your image down here in your layers and go over to the T right here, the tools on the left-hand side. Grab the T and you can left click and drag. All right, and you're going to have to set your size. So let's try that. No, it's too big. Okay, so let's go 12 point. No, that's not bad. Now let's go smaller now. Let's go 10 point if there is one. So let's go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to the left side here. So this will put my text in. All right, so now you can put your text in. So I'll put 1 GMM. And then I will space over the space bar and put whatever. So Green Mountain Maniac. What the heck? So you can put your cursor back over here and you can space further over. Once you get the spacing here, I know it looks kind of weird, but don't sweat that because we can kind of shuffle that around. All right. I know you wouldn't think I'd be doing like a Photoshop tutorial on ham radio, but hey, somebody asked. So, Still don't like the size of that. So let's go smaller. So you can left click and highlight it all. Let's go 8 point. Oh yeah, that's better. That's better. Right? Much better. Okay, so if you want to move something, go up here to the arrow, and all you have to do is left click and you can drag this. Okay, and you don't want it too close to the top. See how it just snapped into the top? You want to drag it down because the top bar, separator bar underneath your the very top of the spectrum. Remember, that's going to be the very top of the spectrum. But it's the way it renders in the Expert software. You can't run it that high because it'll cut it right off. So you have to kind of put it like this, right? Space it something like that. Okay, so as you can see, if you have a background image, you may have a problem seeing the text. So there's one way to fix that. So you can go down here to your layers, right click, go up to blending options. Okay, you can make that punch out a little bit. What I usually do a bevel and emboss, and a lot of times I will bring these sliders all the way up. Okay, that'll kind of make it punch a little bit. And then what you can do is you can do an outer glow. So you can apply an outer glow. And don't forget, after you hit the checkbox, you have to click in this blue area. So when you click the checkbox, it's just going to turn it on, and then you have to click there. So outer glow, here you can change the color. So let's go black. So what you can do is you can almost do a knockout, right? So outer glow, you can control the size and the spread. So let's increase this out a little bit and go ahead and bring the opacity all the way up. Can't remember if this is how I did it. Nope, that's not the one I used. That's right, that didn't work. I was trying to think. Okay, unchecked outer glow, go to drop shadow. Here we go. Get the drop shadow now. This is going to be black, right? So we can change where the shadow appears by rotating this. All right, so you're going to have to play with this. This is kind of fun. This is how you build your own custom stuff, right? So what the size is going to do is it's going to expand that shadow out. So if you watch it, you'll see it expand out, and then you can increase the opacity. And don't be shy about this. So my distance is too far. I would do this differently. I'm just doing this as an example. If you can't get that to look absolutely right, so let's do a spread. There we go. There we go. So if you take the spread and you bring this spread out, see how it gets black behind it? And it jumps out at you. So you can increase the spread, and then what you can do is increase the size, and it'll soften up, right? And then you can adjust the opacity a little bit, and you can kind of get it dialed in. All right, so it's visible. So that's it. And now you can make an adjustment to where it's placed and get it centered on the screen. Look at the left and right side. All right, so that looks okay. That's pretty good. I think I will use that. So what you want to do, okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to save this. If you worked on this without flattening it, save it as a template. All right. So what you do is you go up here and you do a save as. And I have mine set as expert 4K template. Right. Now I'm not going to do that because I already have a template. So, and that's what I'm working off of right now. So save it as a template. It's going to be a PSD. Put that in a safe place, because what you can do is you can take another image and stack it. If this comes out right, you can take the other image, fly it right in on top of this, and put together a whole mess of all different backgrounds for you, for yourself. And all you have to do is drop it in there and then resize it until you see this other image start coming through on the edges, and then you just expand it out, and you know you're in the right place, right? It's sized correctly. And then you can change your text and do whatever makes you, whatever floats your pickle. So doesn't look too bad. Looks like there may be a little bit more space on this side. I should look at the rulers, but I don't have my glasses. Maybe not. You can also use the arrow keys on the keyboard to shift it. So you can use the arrow keys like that. And that looks good enough for government work. Anyways, moving on. Now what you want to do is I would just do a save for web right here. Leave the image size the same. Click save. Oh, make sure I would save it as a JPEG. Up here, choose JPEG. All right, and I always choose high because I want, a fairly decent looking image. You could save it. You could flatten it and save it as a JPEG if you want. I'll show you how to do that quick. So if you go up here, you see down here you have multiple layers going. So what you can do is you can click on layer up here and go down to the bottom. It says flatten. And that will flatten the image. And then you can go here and do a save as, and you can save it as a high resolution JPEG. Right, so let's do high resolution. Let's do JPEG. All right. And we are going to name this blue space split. Just that's how I will identify it. Name it however you want. Make sure it's going to the correct directory. And there you go. Oops. What happened? There we go. Put 12, set 12, or just hit the drop down here, put maximum. Click OK. All right, that is saved. And if you already saved the template, do not save this when you go to close. So that's it. That's all there is to it. You may have to adjust, leave this open and continue to save them and work on them until you get a template that works for you. And then everything from that point forward is good to go. If you want me to make one for you, I will do that. Just send me an image and tell me what you want on the screen. I will do it, but I'm not going to go back and forth with editing it. Take it or leave it. I don't have time, but I will make one pretty much for anybody if you'd like me to. So, and I will do it at my leisure. It only takes me 5 minutes or something like that. It's really easy. All right. So let's get over to the software. Okay, now to get this in here, go to Options, Display, go to Background. Click on, make sure Image is selected, and User. What you want to do is Open, navigate to the directory where you saved it, and there it is, blue space split. So we'll do that. Click Apply. Okay. Bada boom, bada bing. There it is. And you see where the where it is so I can drop this down low enough if I really want to expand the spectrum. So that's pretty much it. All right. I know it seems daunting, but hey, get creative, folks. Right? We'll catch you later. Have a good evening. Maybe hear you on the air at some point. Adios.